Distinguished graduates, beloved families, honored guests, it's a privilege to stand before you today here at Our Lady of the Lake. My speech will not begin with effusive congratulations or false promises that your future is bright and the world will fulfill your wildest dreams. No, that is for citizens in the city of man. Nearly every commencement speaker in America is telling graduates that the world is your oyster and that you can be whatever you choose to become. Our Old Testament prophets warn against such enchantments. I would rather speak the truth of the church than the pretty lies of the worldly poets. The story of your life does not begin today. It began with the waters of baptism, when you passed from the culture of death into the sacramental culture of life. In that moment of grace, you were granted citizenship in the one city that endures while empires crumble into dust, the city of truth that cannot be shaken. Today is not your Genesis. Today the veil is lifted, and you step into the arena of the world, where the fires of this age forge the soul into steel or reduce it to dust. My patron saint, Augustine, he spent his youth chasing every lie the world has to tell. He eventually found the only truth worth dying for in the Catholic Church. In his masterwork, The City of God, he tells us that love, true love, forms two cities. The city of man is formed by the love of self, even to the contempt of God. And the city of God is formed by the love of God, even to the contempt of the fallen self. We are all born into the city of man by the original sin of our first parents. We're granted citizenship in the city of God through baptism. Every civilization, every institution, every human soul, including yours, is a citizen of one or the other or both. There is no third city. The prophet Isaiah warns, "Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness." These two cities clash. As baptized souls, you carry a dual citizenship that ignites an interior war, until we choose, finally and permanently, to belong to only one city. Today, graduates, you are stepping onto a battlefield where the primary weapons are not sword and shield, but the armor of God and the mind of Christ. With this armor and mind, we do battle against an enemy who attacks through abused speech. The serpent steals true words, hollows them out, and refills them with falsehoods. Words like freedom, love, truth, tolerance, progress, all of them wearing the face of virtue, all of them filled with the spirit of the city of man, meant to deceive and manipulate. Incline your ear to wisdom. To help you put on the armor of God, I offer you today 7 pillars of wisdom drawn not from the comfort of this age, but from the treasury of the church and the hard-won testimony of the saints. These are not ideals for a distant future. These are rods and staffs for the road you begin walking this afternoon. The 7 pillars. Pillar 1, know who you are. The world will tell you that identity is a canvas and you hold the brush, that you are your own creator, that you have the power to set yourself free from the very limits God inscribed on your soul. This is the city of man's most seductive lie, a prison with invisible walls. You are women. God made you that way with good purpose. It's a vocation written into your nature and into your body. St. Teresa Benedicta of the Cross calls it feminine genius, a contemplative attentiveness to the person before you, a receptivity to truth, and a capacity for self-giving that the world in its sterile efficiency has never been able to replicate. You were made for the gift of life, for motherhood, though the world tells you otherwise. A mother who raises one genuinely holy child has done more for the history of the world than 10,000 celebrated careers. Know who and what you are, then be it, without apology, without remainder. Pillar 2, choose your companions as if your soul depends upon it, because it does. The ancient king said it plainly, "One who walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools becomes foolish." Show me your 5 closest friends, and I will tell you who you are. Teresa of Avila knew that there are 2 kinds of friendship. the friendship that consoles and the friendship that sanctifies. One comforts, the other makes us uncomfortable enough to grow. Never let the consoling crowd out the sanctifying. The city of God is a communion of souls, not a solitary project. Seek companions who are striving towards God. And when you move among those who are not, move as missionaries, not as fellow citizens. Pillar 3. Marry well or not at all. The world will tell you that love is a feeling and marriage is self-fulfillment. Both are lies that will empty your life of meaning if you believe them. St. John Paul II taught that the body is not an obstacle to the spirit. The body is a language. The spousal gift of self is the primary human icon of the way God loves. A good marriage is a sacramental argument the world cannot alter. Marry a man who makes you better. Marry a man who will lead you toward God even on the days you don't want to go. Marry a man whose knees know the floor in front of the Blessed Sacrament. The consecrated single life is not a consolation prize. It is its own form of spousal love given entirely to God. But settle for nothing less than a love ordered to heaven. Nothing less is worth the name. Pillar 4. Build the domestic church as if the parish depends upon it, because it does. The world will tell you that the home is private and the church is public. This is a false division, and it has nearly destroyed Catholic culture in one generation. The domestic church is not a metaphor. It is the primary living cell of the body of Christ. What you build in your home, in the morning prayer, in the correction of children, in the keeping of the liturgical calendar, in the rosary prayed when everyone is tired and no one wants to kneel, this is the soil from which everything else in the parish grows. Parishes are only as strong as the homes that feed them. Priests are only as fruitful as the mothers who first form the faith of the people in the pews. The kitchen table is an altar. The bedtime prayer is a liturgy. The saint's name on your child is a commission. Build your domestic church accordingly. Pillar 5. Suffer without bitterness. The city of man seeks relief from suffering by any means available. The city of God knows that suffering is an artifact of the fall. But just as God brings good from evil, suffering rightly offered is the path to holiness. The question is not if you will suffer. The question is whether your suffering will be wasted or sanctifying. Bishop Fulton Sheen teaches, the cross is the anvil where God hammers souls into saints. St. Paul tells us in Romans 5, suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, character hope. Do not waste the suffering that is coming. Offer it up to Christ on the cross. Let it produce the perseverance that grows your character. Let your character become the beacon of hope for the rest of the world. And do not let bitterness take root in your soul, because bitterness is the lie that suffering whispers when we have forgotten that it is the author of life who writes the story of this world. Pillar 6. Guard your mind as a city guards its gates. The city of man has elevated open-mindedness to the highest intellectual virtue. G.K. Chesterton exposed the lie. The open mind, he said, is like an open mouth. It is meant to close on something solid and nutritious. Leave it open indefinitely, and it becomes something worse. Not an empty drain, but an open sewer carrying whatever the current brings. In the city of God, the mind is not closed, it is ordered. Thomas Aquinas taught that the office of the wise is threefold: to contemplate truth, to defend truth, and to refute falsehoods. Wisdom is not a search without an end. It is a mind that has found its object of truth, locked upon it, and now guards the gate against whatever would displace it. We live in an age whose primary weapon against the wise is distraction, the frantic, fragmented, and flickering attention the algorithm demands. Avoid endless distraction, guard the gate of your mind, and allow your soul to be formed by the saints before it is deformed by the world. Pillar 7. Die to human respect. The world will tell you that you deserve to be seen, that visibility is validation, and life unwitnessed is a life unlived. This is the oldest lie in the garden, dressed in the language of modern psychology and fueled by emotion and ego. Beware the subtle idolatry of the beautiful life built for the eyes of others. The saints called it vainglory, a spiritual disease that wears the face of virtue while slowly replacing God with the mirror of self and society. Our Lady's entire surrender was one word: fiat. Be it done to me according to thy word. She said yes in private to the God who sees in secret, and the entire world was changed, not because anybody was watching, but because God was. Die to human respect now, while you're young enough for it to become a habit. The work done in secret, offered to God, unseen by men, and held only by the angels, that is the work that moves the world. Therese knew it, Gianna lived it, Mary perfected it. To the fathers and mothers in this room, what you have done with your children is not overprotective. You've done something far harder and far rarer. You have told your children the truth in an age that has made truth-telling an act of martyrdom. You have shielded your children's innocence from the lies of the world. You have refused the spiritual sterilization demanded by the age. You have handed your daughters the map when the entire culture insisted that the landscape was enough. The mission has not ended today, it has shifted. You move now from guardians to intercessors. Pray for these graduates unceasingly as they sojourn into the world. To the graduates, you are not graduates, you are witnesses. You enter a world that does not know what it is, does not know where it came from, and does not know where it's going. And that is precisely why you matter. Not because you will change it by force or platform or argument alone, but because a soul ordered entirely to the beatific vision is a permanent argument for the existence of God that no sophistication can refute. 3 is enough. God saved Israel through Gideon. He redeemed the world through a carpenter, a young woman, and 12 ordinary men. Do not despise the smallness of the remnant. Despise only the smallness of the ambition. Pursue God's will with the courage of the lion, the wisdom of an angel, the steadiness of the ox, and the height of the eagle, and above all, with the humility of our Holy Mother Mary, who proclaimed, "My soul magnifies the Lord. Be it done to me according to thy word." The world is a liar. The grave is empty. The city of truth is eternal, and your permanent citizenship in the city of God is your destiny. You've been given the map to that city by Holy Mother Church. Now go out into the world with the faith to see the lies, the hope to look past the raging fires, and the charity to love those who hate you for the sake of truth. May God bless and keep you all.